From the Standing Stone Farm Studio right outside downtown Nashville, it's time for the most ridiculous sports podcast in the world. So sit back, relax, and listen as Bobby Butler and Brandon Bond crack open a cold one and talk all things hockey, pop culture, and complain about everyday situations. It's the Pucks Out Podcast on the Penalty Box Radio Network.
Welcome into the most ridiculous podcast in sports and pop culture. I'm Bobby. He's Brandon.
Hey-o.
You can find us on the three majors of social media at Pucks Out Pod. Now let's crack open this cold Mayday beer and let's get after it. I cracked mine early because I was so ready for it. Pucks Out is powered by Mayday Brewery, the official beer of Pucks Out Podcast. Head there Saturdays for yoga from 1 to 2, only $10 for an hour of yoga led by a certified instructor and a beer. And stay for karaoke that night with Nate from 7 to 10. And don't forget, they have new beers every week to try out. Big shout out to Mayday for the ongoing sponsorship. Today, we're talking news from in and outside the league. We got some football talk, and we got some stories and some jokes. How are you this week, bud?
Pretty good, man. We had a pretty successful little pseudo birthday party for Megan. Not that a birthday party that's not a birthday party. That kind of turned into one because I was already having folks over and stuff. So got a little cooperation from the weather. Some gambling, some game playing, lots of beer drinking. There were a few Maydays had. I will tell you that.
Yeah,
we did miss hot chicken and jorts, but I did rock my Mayday crop top. Yeah. So that was fantastic. Otherwise, pretty good. Still doing house stuff, which is my life now. That's what I do. What about you, man? How you been doing?
Good, man. Busy. Doing some yard work, and got to tell you, doing yard work feels good. It makes you realize that you have your shit in order when you look at your yard and see that it's nice. You know me. I'm
a pool guy, so I don't know about that yard
you know me,
stuff.
Man. I don't give a damn about whether my grass looks green or not. But the good thing is, living here in Tennessee, lately we went from no rain to dry, hot to weeks worth of rain in a matter of 3 days, and the grass here in Tennessee just goes super green real fast.
Yeah, I can't. I'm waiting for the rain to go away. I'm trying to round things up. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to round them up like I'm the McDonald's, the little Walmart smiley face. Like he's rolling around, he's whipping things. I'm trying to do that, but I can't because they're just gonna keep growing.
Yeah.
It's gonna wash off the Roundup. So
yeah.
I'm excited for it to go away, but it has been big thoughts though over to our folks out to the west. Waverly, Hickman County, Dixon, lots of bad flooding, man. Yeah. So that the rain, everybody's all right there. But yeah, man, I'm ready for this rain to go away. You know my rule is I just like to complain about the weather that is currently there.
Yeah.
If it's hot, I want it to be cold so I can complain about it being cold and be like, why isn't it hot? Or if it's raining, mostly I always hate the rain.
Yeah, I don't mind the rain. I mean, I just like it to fit around my schedule. That's all I ask of it, is to work with my schedule.
Yeah, on a Saturday, bud. Yeah. Come on.
Listen, Monday through Friday, I'm cool with not having to go out and water all the trees and the bushes. Like, do it for me. But listen, bud, it's Saturday. I'm trying to get out there and swim a little bit.
Trying to swim a little bit. At least we got a few hours.
Yeah, I mean, summer's almost over. We're winding down now. Obviously, in Tennessee, you can still swim until sometimes December.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I plan on swimming. I mean, it's gonna. I'm a pool guy now, so I'm not. I'm gonna be out there. It's gonna be too cold, but I'm not gonna admit it. You know what I'm saying?
Gonna have icicles on your beard? No, I swear I'm good.
It's like it's all good. It's all good. I got this recliner thing.
Yeah, the pool's starting to freeze around me, but
that just makes it ice skating time.
Yeah. All right. Check out What a Maneuver to get all the merch you need, and check out Patreon to support the show. Let's jump into the news.
Everything you need to know about what's happening on the ice. It's time for news from inside the boards.
It has been what some people would call a bad year for Evander Kane. The Sharks...
Evander Kane just calls it a year, though, right?
Yeah. The Sharks left winger, there's been so many allegations from his personal life to everything, but one thing we're going to talk about is, there was these allegations of betting on hockey. How much? So I guess we're not going to, talk about whether or not we think the allegations are true or not. I mean, maybe they are. Who are we to say? But at the end of the day, how much does a left winger like Evander Kane, who doesn't play that much anymore, how much does he actually affect the outcome of a match?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess it would depend on what he bet on. Honestly, I mean, there are prop bets out there that says penalty minutes.
The allegations are, just I believe money line Sharks losing.
Yeah, I mean, that's just smart money, though. Whether he affects it or not, like he's got to dig himself out of this hole. Betting on the Sharks to lose makes him not as dumb as we previously thought. Yeah. I don't know that. I mean, I would imagine that there's an occasion that it would matter, that he could change the outcome of the game. He loses a puck and a breakaway happens or something. He takes a bad penalty at a certain time.
I feel like there's so much so much out of his control that now first off, to be in the situation he's not the brightest guy. So maybe he's not making bright decisions by betting against the way, but if on the way here I was thinking, if you had told me that someone on the Sharks were shaving points, I would think it was Martin Jones.
Yeah,
that's the guy who he has not been looking good. Whereas Evander Kane actually had a decent past season relative to what we've seen the last couple of years. Now, granted, my thinking is if you're a left winger, if there is a almost surefire way to shave points, it would be take a lot of penalties. Because then you are straight up putting your team at disadvantage. You might let a puck go here or there, but that still relies on other people. And now I believe he leads the league in minor penalty minutes.
Yeah, and he always has.
Yeah,
so, he may have been doing
and that's
this,
what I'm thinking is, that's one argument for it, but also that's just that's his play style.
That's how he's played forever. Though he did come from Buffalo, so I mean maybe, but it's just not as easy.
Yeah.
To fake it like you're saying. Well, hockey is high scoring. It has lots of goals. It's nothing like basketball.
Yeah.
Where you can legitimately affect the outcome of a game. Nathan Scott, he could shave some point, so I mean, it's, I think that there's certain things that you could do, but not enough. I mean, although he seems like a gambling addict, I don't think there's enough that he could do to ensure that we're going to lose.
Yeah. And I mean, and the thing is, there was so much going on in his personal life that listen, everything I've read, everything I've seen from multiple people is he's a piece of shit. So there's a good chance that he is in some way.
I thought we were updating people on news of Evander Kane. This has been known well before we knew all this stuff.
Yeah.
So
not much update other than, where maybe he's shaving points, but Jimmy Hayes, I believe, he passed away at the age of 31. I believe he was with 12 different teams. I think the Devils, Pittsburgh, and I can't name the others. Maybe Detroit at one point.
Bruins. He was a former Bruins
player.
player.
CSKA Moscow has stated that Kaprizov will not be playing there this coming up year, which great for Minnesota. Not great for Minnesota. No updates on contract talks with the Wild, and no talks have yet been scheduled. So not sure what he's planning on doing. Kind of hard to play hockey and professionally without a contract.
He's gonna go gamble on hockey. So we'll see. I mean, that's great news for the Predators, bad news for hockey in general, and a potential future star in the league. So as a neutral podcast that has no fandom, this is terrible news.
Let's jump to outside the NHL.
Now that you know what's happening inside the boards, time for the rest of the headlines with news from outside the boards.
A little bit on the way here, there was an official announcement. The Big Ten, the ACC, the Pac-12 officially announced an alliance with 41 schools to attempt to rival the SEC.
I don't think that they understand why people like the SEC. I mean, we get great football games all the time. When you have 41 schools, you're not going to get to see everybody play one another. I mean, it's very clear that they have no idea what they're doing.
Yeah.
I mean, you would have stood a much better chance of taking maybe two of those.
Yeah.
But I mean,
or selecting the best from each one and having a separate conference with them.
And they think we're going to rival the SEC. You are not. You want to know why? Because, this year Clemson has to go and play Washington University, a couple weeks before the playoffs are chosen. I mean, that's a lot of travel for these college kids that are probably not going to class. And
yeah, so I mean, this is gonna cause some.
Well, this doesn't happen for like 5 years, right? Like 2025 is when all this is in the work. I know that's when Texas and Oklahoma come into the SEC.
Yeah, so the thing is, this is not a merger. This is just them having an alliance for scheduling. They said, I believe
they're just teamed up.
They said they will have that beginning season after this next one.
They're just boys at this point, is what you're saying.
Yeah,
they're just good trade partners.
Yeah, but it's definitely going to cause issues as far as scheduling. I mean, Ohio State plays Alabama in a couple of years, I believe. There's a lot of ACC, SEC rivalries. Clemson and stuff that they're going to have to work out because
Clemson, South Carolina,
because
happen every year.
If you've got that many, they're going to have to make so many scheduling changes just to deal. I mean, are they going to get rid of the SEC matchups? Doubtfully.
Well, probably what they'll do is, eventually, who's going to fall by the wayside is your cupcake games.
Yeah,
you got to play real schedule the whole year. Like we talked about, this is ultimately going to hurt the smaller schools. I think we talked about that with Justin. That's who's ultimately hurt. These big schools are not going to be hurt. These name brand. Even the schools that are not as good at football. Sometimes they're good, like South Carolina or Georgia Tech. These are still name brand football teams. They're not the MTSUs, the Troys,
And I guess I don't understand what the end game for this alliance is.
Oh my goodness, Bobby, money.
No, and I get that, but
that's the end game.
But this feels like they're going to, it feels like by doing this, they are lessening the value of the games. They are watering down the quality of them. So it seems like their viewership is going to go down. No, there's going to be more travel, more expenses on travel.
College football fans are very stuck on their conference, and that's the thing. Is you're going to watch the ACC play the Pac-12 because you're an ACC fan. You just watch that team. I know that this team is playing my team in 2 weeks. So if
you
think
that's why they specifically didn't do a merger and create a new conference so that it creates that conference rivalry, like. Oh, let's see which of these conferences is the better at the end of the year, has the better record.
I don't think anybody was going to get. I think TV contracts and nobody was going to get the better end of the deal. Is what it is. Yeah, is my opinion. These are 3 conferences that over the last 10 years have been very mismanaged.
Yeah,
they thought. The Big Ten. We're the Big Ten. We don't need anybody else, or we got Ohio State and Michigan and Penn State. We're the Big Ten.
Yeah,
and so whereas
they got excited from Maryland to join them.
The SEC, while the fans can be absurdly obnoxious. Don't think that's lost on me. I'm an SEC fan as well, and I'm one of those obnoxious SEC fans. I'm not talking bad about anybody. But Greg Sankey and Mike Slive have done great things to make the league better. The actual league is trying to be the best, and they appreciate their fans, which it doesn't seem like the ACC, the Big Ten, and the Pac-12 do, in my opinion, from the outside.
Yeah, I think what's happening is these conferences are gearing up for the eventual end of the era of the NCAA, and so they are making these alliances. They're getting ready for what they know is going to come.
This is college football Big Brother edition.
Yeah, they I believe that this is. We'll look back and realize that what we're seeing now will be, I believe, the last couple of years of this style of college football.
It's the end of an era.
Yeah, and now obviously college football has had many eras. I think the last one ended 3 years ago with the new playoff, but. Yeah, I think it's
college football.
I think the death of the NCAA is the writing's on the wall.
College football fans are historically never happy about anything.
Yeah.
So Gotta keep changing it, but you gotta keep it the same too. We want everything to be different, but we want everything to be the exact same as it's always been, while simultaneously being very different.
Travis Etienne is likely out for the Etienne is likely out for the season after injuring his left foot in Monday's preseason loss at New Orleans.
I'm so sorry to interrupt you. I am so sad for this kid. I was big on him. I think he's going to have a great career. But I'll tell you, I am so happy that if it had to happen to somebody's coach, happy it happened to Herb. Okay, that's very rude. I'm so sorry, Travis. I hope that you recover very fast, but I hope it's too late for Urban Meyer to not be a massive loser. Hey, Bob. Any no hitters?
Not yet.
So we're both still losers at this point.
Yes.
Really don't know why we made that call. We're getting really close to the end. I think I would have just rather us neither of us taken the L, but we didn't. So
it's slow in the offseason right now. Not much to talk about, but we're gearing up for the preseason of NHL. So today we're just going to be talking about the best rookie quarterbacks in the NFL this season. We're going to expand on that a little bit. So Brandon, why don't you start us off?
So I mean, it really just depends on the question we're going to start with. Are we talking about who do we think is going to have the best season?
Yeah, why don't we start off with who do we think is going to be the best this season, and then go from there.
That's tough. Oh man, this is really a tough call. I think it's got to be one of two, in my mind, that will have the best season, mostly because they're almost going to be forced to play. It's either Trevor Lawrence or Zach Wilson.
Okay.
I think that is that's who's going to have the best season if we're just looking at stats. I'm not big on Justin.
Me neither.
A lot of people are big on him, and I don't wish ill on him or anything. I just don't see him going far. I could be wrong, but I think Zach Wilson will be. I mean, I think he's the guy.
Yeah.
But
I think
Trevor Lawrence has Minshew in front of him, but I think that's a foregone conclusion.
Yeah, I don't see Gardner Minshew as starting, being the starter week one. I think that Justin Fields will. I think he'll be decent. I think with his ability to run the ball, I don't see him as a long term. And I don't see Chicago using him to his strengths.
I could definitely agree with that. Justin Fields may have the best season this season.
Yeah.
Just his overall stats. I could see that happening. It usually takes a year or two for guys like him to get figured out. Whereas he's not a Lamar Jackson style of quarterback where he's basically a running back. He's just a quarterback with some skills to run.
I think, personally, I think but the best this season is going to be between Justin Fields, who I don't think has longevity, and I think Trey Lance is going to come in pretty early in week. I think he's going. I wouldn't be surprised if week 2 we see him starting over Garoppolo. I think he is. I think from what I saw, I think he was the most talented of the quarterbacks coming in.
I think it takes an injury for Trey Lance. Personally, I'm not. I don't know that for sure, but I think. Garoppolo has not. When he's been able to be on the field, he's been all right. He hasn't been great.
Yeah, but how often? That exactly said injury, and let's be honest here. It's
a Shanahan though. Like the Shanahans are not bring that rookie guy in. It's they're more of a pay your dues type of deal. So
I do like. I think especially with the recent news of Cam Newton and his issues off the field as of this week, I could see Mac Jones.
Was it his outfit?
Yeah. No, I believe he missed a mandatory NFL CBA event or NFLPA, something like that. And I think he skipped some COVID stuff. So I don't know. It's some off-field stuff that they're not happy with him about. And I believe that I'll look up, but I think Mac Jones is going to have, I think Mac Jones of the group will be longevity wise the best. I think in 5 years we'll be seeing Mac Jones as the best quarterback of this group.
I was about to say. I mean, it could go either way, but I think Mac Jones is in the best situation of all five folks.
We saw what Belichick did with a guy who was barely a starter at Michigan,
Drew Bledsoe.
Now we get to see Belichick with a once in a lifetime generational talent, I believe. And I think that
I wouldn't go that far.
3 times in a lifetime. I think he has got. I believe he's got the best arm of rookie quarterbacks this year. I think he's got the best. I mean, his accuracy, his football IQ,
his football IQ. The problem is with an Alabama quarterback is you never know if he's a great quarterback or he just had an average O-line that was 7'8" and 400 pounds and the most athletic 5 linemen in the entire country. I mean, there are times that you watch an Alabama football game and I feel like you and I could go out there and be quarterback. Okay. Yeah. You know, and so I'm not denying that. I agree with you. I think that he has the best opportunity to have the best future of the 5. I also want to say I don't know that we know who we got yet.
I also believe that he's one of the few rookie quarterbacks who are going to be who have elite talent. That if he goes in and gets starting position, it's not going to be wasted. Patriots are a win now team. They have a stacked defense. They have a very good offensive line. They have a coach who was probably who is many people's opinion the all-time greatest coach. That team is a winning culture. So there are many guys like Trevor Lawrence who go from winning cultures to the Jags. Now he's going from Alabama to the Patriots.
I may regret this. I may regret saying this, but I do also feel like Mac Jones is in a extremely tough with the Bills and the Dolphins being there. I think that could be a I mean, I agree with everything you just said. I think that that's also something to think about where they're not the win now Patriots that we've seen before.
Oh, it is certainly a different style of win now, whereas it used to be a win now of, oh, it's the Patriots. I mean, the smart money's always on them going, but now I think they're still, I think that they're going to win that division.
I don't think so. The Bills are going to win that division.
I'll water
Josh
bet it.
Allen.
I'll water bet it right now.
Okay.
I think that it's clearly between the two of them, but I don't.
Write it on the water bet, Doc.
I do not believe that we see the Patriots stutter like they did last year again.
I'll even water bet. No, I won't. But I think.
What were you going to say?
I think that the Dolphins are going to get.
Yeah, I do not believe that. And listen, we've seen the NFL, anything can happen, but I don't see.
Type it on the doc.
I'm looking for the water. There we go.
Josh Allen's too good.
Yeah, no, I'm not. Listen, I love Josh Allen. I don't.
Bobby hates Josh Allen. You heard it here first.
I'm not ripping on Josh Allen. I'm ripping on the rest of the team, and I think that I don't think they have the defense to just. I don't think they have the stopping power.
Oh, their defense is solid.
I think I think this year we're going to see the leaks begin.
You're gonna have to hope because I think this is a team that we were on the cusp of the Super Bowl last year.
Yeah, listen, let me be very clear. I think, and I don't hear what I'm not saying. I think the Bills, if it comes to the playoffs, I think that the Bills will be a wild card. And I think that in the playoffs, I think the Bills have a better playoff team, but I think the Patriots in that division are going to win.
I don't see it. Obviously, I don't see it. Yeah. I bet on it. So, I think that's a good bet, though, that I think really could go.
Yeah. Now, I want to be very clear here, and I should have stipulated this before we agreed on it. This agreement is stipulated on because this is started with Mac Jones.
No.
Cool, listen,
you said the Patriots.
Listen, we'll keep this, but I want to be very clear, and that outside, it doesn't matter, but I want to be very clear outside this bet.
Well, fine.
I believe that if Cam Newton's the starter, I don't think they're going to win the division.
Fine. Mac Jones starts at least 10 games, but at any point during the season, Josh Allen gets hurt. I'm out of it as well.
Because this conversation was started off the quarterbacks. So just
well, sure, but
yeah.
my quarterback on that I'm betting on is actually going to play, and yours is a maybe. So you water bet the division.
No, listen, with the water bet staying. The water bet is staying.
Water bet
is.
staying.
This was outside the water bet, me saying,
okay,
I believe that.
I thought you were trying to get
No. I don't want to amend the water bet at all. I'm just following it up by saying, because it's going to, it would complicate things like, oh, if 10 games this. If Cam Newton is the starter all year, I believe the Bills win the division.
Okay,
I don't trust in Cam Newton.
That's fair.
I believe that if Mac Jones comes in as the starter, that they will win the division. That is how confident I am as Mac Jones as a quarterback.
I'll even caveat that. I think if Mac Jones starts all year, I'm still solid on mine. I think if he comes in after like 3 or 4 games,
and that's why I didn't want to. That's why I didn't want to muddy the water, because it's like, okay, well, what if he comes in with 3 games remaining, but but then they win three weeks in a row when he's in there, and they win the division by 1 game. Clearly, it muddies the water. So just a straight up Pats win the division. Because it still is a good water bet, with the Pats.
Historically, you would have won this water bet.
Yeah,
my team has the better opportunity to do it, but historically,
they flush opportunities down the toilet.
Exactly. Well, I don't even know if it's that as much as the Patriots accept those opportunities that are given to them.
Yeah, so the Patriots know how when they're given an opportunity, they know how to take that opportunity.
Capitalize. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. I think he'll be the best. I think that, though, Trevor Lawrence has a really good opportunity to be great in this league. He is in a division that historically never know what's going to happen in the AFC South. I mean, Peyton dominated that division for a while.
I truly believe that nowadays the most important thing, I believe, to a young quarterback being successful is, can they protect him? They have to protect these young quarterbacks. And if
I got lots of condoms in Jackson.
Well, they gotta. But so the question is whether or not. And listen, I don't know anything about the Jags O line. They could have a really great O line. If they're not protecting Trevor Lawrence, if they're not keeping him off the ground, then
so what you're saying is, if Trevor Lawrence gets hit and gets hurt and is unable to play, he will not have a good season.
Not even saying clearly yes, but if he doesn't get hurt, even if he spends the first 2 years of his career just getting bruised up in order for them to
confidence.
Yeah, I mean,
sure.
that's going to kill him, especially when you're going from a team like Clemson.
I mean, I've agreed with that for forever. It's a lost art in the NFL. I really appreciated the time when you would draft a high round, early round quarterback, and he would come in and he would sit behind a guy for a few years because he learns the game. I've always agreed with that. That's why I think Aaron Rodgers is so successful right now. If he would have come into the Packers and started immediately, we're not talking about the same Rodgers.
No.
And I think it's a lost art. And I know we got to win now because nobody gets any time to do anything anymore, that they have to play that guy that they drafted. And every once in a while they come out and they're great.
And you're talking about time to grow. I'm more talking. Let's look at this. Let's look at this last Super Bowl. We had probably the greatest quarterback of all time versus the most prolific quarterback in the game right now. The difference at the end of the day was Tom Brady had about a full 8-9 seconds to throw the ball almost every play.
Yeah.
Pat Mahomes had what? Sometimes I think some of them was less than a full second before he was having to run for his life.
Well, you're talking about two of the best teams in the NFL this year, but I'm talking about being able to grow. I mean, he may not come out and win, but like to your point, as long as he's able to throw and make mistakes, then he can grow and be a better quarterback and make the team better.
And many guys, and one of the issues I see many guys coming in the NFL is that you can simulate being rushed all you want. There is no replacement for having full-on defensive linemen that want to take your head off in a real game coming at you like less than a second after you snap the ball.
With the pressure added and 60,000 fans
because you don't have that red jersey on in a game. You in a practice, you psychologically like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm rushed, but they're not going to hurt me. Much different in a game, and I think that adds up. And just like we saw in the Super Bowl, Pat Mahomes, it was also a mixture of his receivers not being able to catch anything.
I think Pat Mahomes did what he could with what he had the opportunity to do.
He was succeeding. He was doing very well with what he had.
It was exactly as you said, though. defense wins championships, whether or not it's the offense that scores and is flashy. Kansas City couldn't get any pressure on Tom Brady. So from what I can remember, I got really drunk that game.
Well, and listen, Kansas City's got a good defense. The Patriots O-line was not messing around that game. They had an answer for everything Andy Reid
Didn't they go O-line number 1 this year?
I believe so. And
Tristan Wirfs, I believe.
Belichick's always been an old school. I mean, listen, he took Tom Brady was no spring chicken. Tom Brady was not athletic, but you give a good quarterback 8 seconds to throw a ball, he can get it there.
And absolutely. We should probably. We were like, oh, it's only going to be a few minutes that we talk about rookie quarterback.
Well, it's a slow news week.
45 minutes later,
let's move into joke of the week.
The weird. Corey Perry. See, I don't like this. Wild. I think the first read was a good one. Now I'm overthinking it. Outlandish.
Each sixth chick sat on a stick. Little tongue twister.
And downright dumb.
You're kidding me.
It's time for the joke of the week.
What you got?
Oh, yeah. This is something that we've all been talking about since I was born. I don't think that there's ever a time that this hasn't been a highly sought after subject. A restraining order has been issued in the continuing drama around McDonald's ice cream machines. A judge sided with a third-party company that created a device to let restaurants fix the broken machines themselves. It's no secret that the issues that these ice cream machines have had. There's actually a website now that you can go to determine if a specific McDonald's ice cream machine is broken or not. That's not in the article. That's just happening. It's such a big joke that even the official McDonald's Twitter has acknowledged it. They once tweeted, "We have a joke about our soft serve machine, but we're worried it won't work." So these digital ice cream machines are in more than 13,000 McDonald's restaurants, and they're manufactured by a Taylor company. First of all, Taylor Company is like a weak name for an ice cream machine manufacturer. But despite their unreliability, they cost a cool $18,000. Part of the reason that the 5-figure price tag is because of their complexity. Machines can simultaneously make both soft serve and milkshake, which is a crucial capacity for busy McDonald's restaurants. Unless they can't do either, though. But their complicated machines have also have to be completely disassembled for cleaning every 2 weeks. Then they have to be put back together, and when something goes wrong with them, they can only be serviced by a Taylor certified technician. It's so frequently that they go wrong, according to the McBroken website. That's the website that I was just telling you about, where you can go and see where the ice cream machines are broken. And it tracks those malfunctioning ice cream machines. More than 11% of the machines are currently out of service. That seems way low to me.
I mean, 11%. I mean, how many McDonald's are there in the country?
Well, we just heard how many there are. There's like 13,000 of these machines floating around. So like 11%, like, bro, if you went to 10 McDonald's when you left here, how many of them ice cream machine would be broken?
One something? 1.1?
It would be 1.1 according to this, but I'm saying, is that your experience that you've been in when going to a McDonald's?
I've never had McDonald's ice cream, so I couldn't answer
You
that.
never had a McFlurry?
Not since I was
you
only
can
5.
get the McHell out of here, okay? Because
I eat Ben
McFlurries
and
are
Jerry's
dope.
like an adult.
Well, if you could get them at McDonald's, then I'll be all for it. You know, if there was if you had, I'm sure you had Sonic.
Yeah.
It's like a Sonic Blast.
Yeah.
Is what a McFlurry is. Yeah. So I'm just saying that, I mean, it's more than.
Yeah, I'm taking your word for it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, take my word for it, because I've done absolutely no research, and there is somebody that has done research, but I do not believe them.
I'm siding with you.
So finally, a judge sided with the third party that they've created this this thing to fix it, and they issued a temporary restraining order against Taylor, and they were given 24 hours to turn over all of the solution devices that they were able to acquire. They've been acquiring them. I guess they finally do have the representative to like fix these because they've just been hanging out behind the ice cream machine, and they're like, gotcha. Give me that. So the Kitsch co-founder, Melissa Nelson, were optimistic the truth will prevail. That's the good people. That's the good guys, Bob. The truth will set you free. Yeah. It's an interesting phrase for just fixing ice cream machine. That is a big problem in this country, though, is the right to repair. You know, like John Deere has done that to a lot of farmers and stuff, to where only John Deere can fix I think it's more others, but that's the big one. You know, like, we're not ever in any danger of getting a sponsorship from John Deere, so I'm not worried about throwing them under the bus here. They're kind of like the KGB, unless. So what a joke. Why wouldn't you just let people? Because, I mean, it's your machine. If they're working and other people can fix them, then why not catch that $18K per, dude?
Oh, they're probably making so much money on having McDonald's pay to have a guy come out there and fix it. That's where it lies. The McDonald's is probably paying a shit ton of money.
Now, I bet you it's a service contract.
Which McDonald's pays for that contract, though.
But you could still lock in that service contract. It's probably just they probably just make more money with the ice cream.
Well, what they want to do is it sounds like more than that. They wanted to figure out how that device works so that they can then sell that device. They wanted to reverse engineer that device, and then they want to have that device. It. Which is straight up, you can't do.
Well, not for 20 years, but come see Taylor in 20 years when they have the Taylor device.
Yeah.
So what a joke. I'm glad that maybe more than 1.1 in 10.
I mean, I'm going to do my own research. I'll stop by 10 on the way home.
Stop. All right, Bobby. Look, we don't ever do research for this show, but stop by 10. Okay. Look.
I'll stop by 1. Well, so it's either 0 or 100%.
That's right. That's it. We're going to come back and we're going to be like 0%. Or better yet, we could have just looked at the McBroken website. I mean, we literally had the website. But isn't that where their
stats came from? I thought you said.
No, I think it's an independent.
Oh, okay. I was like, that's where their stats came from. Because I mean, that relies on the staff reporting that their stuff's broken. Unless it's like unless it's like Google Maps traffic, where if I go to one that's broken,
I think people like report it.
Yeah.
But go ahead, move us on, and then I will tell you. Wow! Around me, looks like we're all green, bro. We're greened up.
All right, so we are not doing Summer of Bond this week. We are talking Suicide Squad. I saw it about 2 weeks ago. You said you saw it this weekend.
Yeah. Super good.
I liked it. I
really liked it as well.
It was a fun movie to watch.
I'll tell you, the one complaint I have is you undersold my boy John Cena. I mean, he's not a great actor, but he did okay.
So going into it, I was told, John Cena's role sucked. I'm like, well, he's not a great actor, so I'm not expecting much. After watching it, he played that role well.
He played the exact. I mean,
that he was casted well for what he was. Campy. Cheesy kind of.
I mean,
super villain.
The line when the rat keeper says like, do they call you peacekeeper? He's like, yeah,
I will kill anyone to get peace.
He was
man,
like,
woman, or child.
Yeah, what was it? He says something specifically. He was like,
I will achieve peace. I'll
do anything. I'll do anything. I mean, I value peace above all else, and I don't care how many men, women, or children I have to kill to get it. I thought that it fit the role because like his character was supposed to be a cheesy, not good actor.
So when you type in peacekeeper quote on Google, the first thing that comes up is a quote from George Clooney. 100%.
George, what are you doing, bud?
His quote is, peace is a full-time job. It's protecting civilians, overseeing elections, and disarming ex-combatants. Peace, like war, must be waged. And I don't care how many men, women, and children I have to kill for it. I'm paraphrasing the last part.
Yeah, I really liked it. I mean, obviously, I think that it could have been the absolute worst movie ever. And my boy
the first Suicide Squad was not great.
Right. I mean, I didn't hate it, but it just wasn't.
Yeah. I'm not a big, I've never, even in the comics, I was never a big Suicide Squad fan. It's just not my thing. I don't like, and in the comics, it was a little bit better. I'm not a bit like, at the end of the day, these guys are not good people. They're super villains.
Yeah.
I don't like how they are trying to, first off, what they make Flag seem like the good guy. Flag is a bad guy. Flag is a piece of shit. He just sits by. Why? What's her name? The chick from How to Get Away with Murder, I think. She is a villain. She is also a super villain.
Right. Yeah.
All of these people are bad.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, cool. King Shark is a cool guy. I loved King Shark. Still really bad. And like, I think people are forgetting Harley Quinn is still a super villain. She kills children. She murders people.
She is a
psychopath.
She's absolutely terrible, but it is hard. Super hard. Not to love her as a character.
She kills that
with
role.
Margot oh my god,
kills that role. Listen,
she is so good at it. And
as a movie, not looking at it as a fan,
right?
It's a great movie. I don't like it simply because of the storyline standpoint. I'm like, I don't like. I've never been able to connect with any of these characters. To me, I love the Harley Quinn animated series. It's hilarious. But
you saw Birds of Prey, right?
I saw I saw it in the background. My wife was watching. I watched it in the background.
You need to watch it, dude.
I watched most of it, and I wasn't a fan of.
I really like it because I think she does such a good job. And as much as I love Idris Elba, Margot Robbie stole that movie, dude. I mean, when that scene when they were trying to go and then save her or whatever, and she shows up, she's like, what are you guys doing?
Yeah. Listen, I think, it was very clear Idris Elba was out, especially when you're on the screen with John Cena. He outmatches everyone as far as acting chops goes, without a doubt. But listen, it was a fun movie. I enjoyed it. I would watch it again.
Yeah.
But as a fan of comics and DC, not a big fan of it.
You didn't like it because of like the storyline of it, because you don't like the characters.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I'm one of the very few people. I like Jared Leto Joker. I don't love it. I like it.
I agree with that.
And many people despise it, dislike it. I think, honestly, it is this world of...
It's a great take on it.
This DC world that they built with Batfleck and Jared Leto Joker, it is so unique, I feel like, that I enjoy it. I've always said Batfleck played a good, gritty, old PTSD-ridden Batman, and Jared Leto... I think the world that they've built doesn't call for I'm clown with all this makeup. It doesn't call for that.
It does call for the gang. I mean, with Margot Robbie,
and it doesn't call
Harley
for the
Quinn.
Heath Ledger Joker either. I think Jared Leto's Joker works so well in this world where he's a mob boss.
I agree. I agree with that as well. Like, I always thought, and also the same way, maybe it's just because I'm a huge Jesse Eisenberg fan. I also thought he did a great Lex Luthor.
Yeah, at first I was indifferent about Jesse Eisenberg. I didn't really feel one way or the other. I've never been a big Lex Luthor guy.
Yeah.
I've always felt the what's his name from Smallville played a great Lex Luthor. But yeah, Jesse Eisenberg was great. I think what carried the series was clearly Henry Cavill. Cavill carried that series as Superman. Listen, many people don't like Superman, and most people agree he was an amazing Superman.
I honestly feel like, and even with my distaste of Ben Affleck, and thinking that maybe there could have been a better casting of the Batman, I really, across the board, think that they did a fantastic job.
Yeah,
Gal Gadot,
and especially watching Zack Snyder's the Zack Snyder cut, what he wanted, because the problem with this DC series in full has been too many cooks in the kitchen, too many people editing, too many people trying to get what they want on screen.
It's the Star Wars sequels all over again.
Seeing Zack Snyder's what he wanted, his vision, it was amazing. And I, as a Zack Snyder fan, I wish they had let him go further with it.
Well, this is as a non-DC fan that I thoroughly enjoyed watching almost every movie in there.
And I'm excited. Listen, this has made me a huge Henry Cavill fan, not just because he's also big into D&D. He's a big nerd who plays video games, but he's coming into the MCU soon, and I can't wait for him to be in the MCU. I think he's going to be playing Hercules in the MCU, so that's going to be dope to see.
Yeah,
I think they haven't decided if he's going to be Zeus or Hercules, and I think he'll obviously be a better Hercules.
He is by far. I don't know though. I mean, I was going to say by far carried it, but I really think Harley Quinn carried it. I think. That
Yeah,
she
I guess
did
because
such a
I'm
good
never.
job.
Yeah, I guess I'm just biased because I don't like Suicide. Any of the, I'm not a big fan of
You don't
Suicide
like
Squad
Harley
storyline.
Quinn,
So I
so it's hard
always
to-
forget that that's part of like when I always think of like the Justice Leagues, Batman vs Superman. That's what those were better movies, I think, than Birds of Prey or Suicide Squad. I liked Suicide Squad. It was
because
not,
you like those
Yeah,
characters,
100%,
and I don't
yeah.
like those characters. So I just went into it of like which one is the best movie,
Yeah.
and I really thought like the whole Milton thing, dude. I was
That was hilarious. That was
I
hilarious.
was dying.
The best was on Twitter.
Who's Milton?
The best part is on Twitter. Somebody was talking about it, and somebody brought up Milton, and so like it just became a chain of people like, "Who's Milton?" There was no Milton in the movie, and people are dumb enough to like, "What are you talking about?" Like they post a picture of the actor, and they're like, "I'm sorry, is that supposed to be a picture of John Cena?" There's no one there. Who's that? Who's that guy?
When Idris Elba goes, he was still with us.
Yeah.
And she goes, who was Milton? And then at the end, he was like, hey, you know, like you did really good, Milton. The name's not Milton. That was just my favorite part of like the javelin scene with her.
Yeah, I was really I am a big fan of not just Javelin, the character, but also Flula Borg, the actor. He is freaking hilarious. And they put him on so many of the posters of like of that, and that's what they would do. They were fucking with people by they were like putting that whole first like they put
dude. I'm so glad that the Weasel not a part, dude, because he was like.
Question: did you see post credit scenes?
Oh yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
he's still alive.
Yeah. I did see that, but I mean,
oh, that was creepy.
Yeah, I was very pleased. You know, because, you know, I'm not a movie guy. I'm not a DC guy for sure, but I was very pleased.
So there was a thing on Facebook. The body shape of the Weasel matched almost identically to Matthew McConaughey's body type in the Dallas Buyers Club when he had AIDS. Somebody went in and like CGI'd the Weasel in all the scenes of the Dallas Buyers Club when Matthew McConaughey. So it's just the Weasel in there, like having a conversation about like having AIDS and stuff. It's disturbing.
That's so funny. Yeah, I was a fan. I enjoyed it. I thought John Cena did a good job.
Oh yeah. All right, we got some questions from the internet. Why don't you tell us what we got?
All right. No sports questions. I accidentally mixed up all the cards, so like I can't remember what we've done.
I'm decent at remembering them.
Yeah, well, I mean, some of them I'm like, oh yeah, I've done this, but like some of them, like, I don't know. But it's usually in the group that I have done, so these should be good. If we've said them, let me know. If you could be the patron saint of something, what would it be?
I want my title to be the patron saint of nothing, and I'm just like patron saint of just. Doing nothing, just chilling, doing nothing.
Yeah,
that way, all
bad.
my fault, and then eventually I ascend to godhood because there's so many people that love doing that. They eventually see me as their god.
I feel like I could be like the patron saint, like making a joke at an inappropriate time. You know what I'm saying? Like, but it's funny. You know, like people are like, I don't want to laugh at that, but like, he's right. You know, like he's correct. Or like the patron saint of like being way too loud and then getting offended when people say anything about me being too loud. You know,
I think you're outside this weekend, but I was talking and your mom looks at my mom and was like, I'm glad my son's not the only one who's way too loud everywhere they go. She's like, yeah. She's like, wait until they are both together and they've been drinking. She's like, I know.
Yeah, exactly. Like we could just, I mean, you know, the thing is like, we want people to hear what we have to say. It's important.
Yeah.
So I feel like there could be lots more, though. The patron saint of like having dope podcasts. You know, I don't know if we'd be quite the patron saint of that, but
yeah, well, we would.
I mean,
it's we wouldn't just be. I would like to think that we'd be a patron saint of a bunch of different things, and it's like a long title with just.
I got it. We're the patron saint of getting really hyped up about something random for our pop culture segment and then like really being down on it pretty quickly. We've done this on multiple things and like none of them at all have had like 30 some odd movies. And so like we were really like pushing it to make this call and it was a bad call.
Yeah. They're not all
But
winners.
next week though, we're getting back to it. Maybe we should double up again.
Which sucks is I get back into town like on Sunday.
Well, watch it on the plane. I mean,
Well,
it's not
I'm
like we're going
driving.
to pay attention to it anyway. Watch it, listen to it. Put it on YouTube. So yeah. So, I mean, there could be plenty of options for patron saint. Mostly probably just none would be probably the best. What's the worst thing you've ever gotten thrown out of a bar?
Oh, I mean, there's so many.
I know. I've got
And
one in mind.
who's the judge of worst? Well, I mean, there's a lot
Just
of great
your
things
call.
that happened.
Yeah, that's your
there was the
call.
one time you talked to me into punching the fuck out of a paper towel holder, and we both did it, and I got caught. There was clearly
I got thrown out too.
well, because you had to go with me. You didn't even have to.
We didn't even do
And
that.
we didn't even get really kicked out. We just went to the patio.
And talked Game of Thrones.
There's clearly jukeboxes on 2 separate occasions.
Yeah.
There's I mean,
No. What we're talking about here, I mean, you can keep naming all the
Yeah.
stuff. We're talking about like the worst thing by your standard. Like what was like, oh my God, I cannot believe I got kicked out by that.
I got one.
Okay.
I was underage, and I was sober.
That's illegal, Bobby.
I was sober, but I showed the wrong ID. Now,
yeah, that's the worst.
here's the story with that. We had just left a place. I had met people at another bar. They were leaving. So I was like, all right, cool. We'll go to the next place. I forgot to switch my IDs in my little like visible thing. Showed the bouncer, and he's like, you gotta be 21 to come in here, man. I'm like, oh. And I quickly like pull out the other one. He's like, dude,
come on.
So
guy.
I drive to my apartment, put on a different shirt, shave my beard just a little bit.
You're like
and,
a big guy. That's not like
put a hat on and come back. And there's
Hello,
now this
it's
time the
me.
bouncer's not there. And so I get in there. I get a beer in. I see the bouncer come up with he's bar backing. He looks at me. He's like, "Can I see your ID?" I show him the real one. He's like, looks at me. He's like,
you mean the fake one?
yeah, I showed him the
real fake one.
I showed him the appropriate one for the time. And he's like, yeah, dude, I'm not stupid. You gotta leave.
Yeah, that is the worst. I was at a okay, so mine is it really is the worst because I mean you're gonna hear. I'm gonna tell the story. So it was a cops and robbers party at a bar. It was like a fraternity thing. It wasn't our fraternity, but it was some other fraternity. Yeah. And so I always took pride in my ability to stay on theme, but not have to like get outside of normal clothes. So I went in just like shorts and like a Hawaiian shirt. People were like, it's a cops and robbers party. I was like, no, I'm a retired cop. And so, like, what are they going to say about that?
You're a bank manager at a Cayman Islands bank.
Either or, cops and robbers. So, I'm a little, I've been drinking. I've been doing my fair share of drinking. And, I'm out on the dance floor. I'm getting it, whatever. Well, like this probably had to have been 5'4" bartender. Security guard comes and grabs me. Like, yo, what up? He's like, gotta go. And I'm like, for what? I mean, I've probably done something to deserve to go, but I am going to at least need an explanation. So he drags me outside, and I say drag very loosely. Like, I had to walk with him. I had to drag him. And so he gets me outside, and he's like, I saw you drinking out of that flask, which sounds like me. That's, that could have been me. I didn't have a flask. And so he starts, trying to search me or something. And he hits like my back, and I have something. He's like, oh, what's that? Because he has his flashlight out on me because it's dark outside where he's taking me. And so I whip out my cop's flashlight as well, and I shine it on him. I was like, it's my flashlight, bud. I'm a retired cop. And he didn't like that because I didn't have a flask, and I should have just said nothing. I should have said, "Oh, it's a flashlight. It's part of my costume." But I was like, "What do you think about that, little guy?" Because I was shining. Because I turned my flashlight on, and I was shining it in his eyes like he was shining it in mine. We were, and so I did get a standing ovation. I guess everybody was already standing in the line to get in, so my card got left there that night, though. And I called to get it back, and they never called me back, so I just had to cancel and get a new one. Was it worth it? 100. But it is the worst reason I've ever got kicked out. Literally for nothing.
Yeah.
So.
But all right, let's hit into this or that.
Time to cast your vote. Vote your cast. Choose your pick. Pick your choice. Make a decision and take a side for this or that.
I think we got a pretty easy one this week.
Oh, no question.
Yeah. Would you rather hook up with Queen Elizabeth or Hillary Clinton? I mean, should we say it at the same time? Because I feel like
1, 2, 3.
Queen
Lizzie.
Elizabeth. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a no question. Like, fan of Hillary Clinton, not a fan of Hillary Clinton, doesn't matter, dude.
Yeah. Queen Elizabeth has a banging bod.
You hook up with a queen if you get an opportunity. Yeah. It's just the way of it. You know, I mean, I don't even need to say more.
Yeah. I'm sure everyone has their own reasons.
Plus, if she found out that we picked the opposite way, she would definitely never knight us, which is, high up on my my priority.
Yeah, that needs to happen.
Getting knighted. So
that's why we started this podcast. Beer to get our own beer.
We got
and get knighthood.
We've got that lined up. Now it's not on to knighthood.
Some would say a little bit harder. Just got to grind for it.
Hey, some would say a little bit harder, and I'm hoping that's what Queen Elizabeth says. Boom! Got him.
All right, let's jump into what's snapping your stick.
Bobby and Brandon are about to find out exactly what snaps their sticks.
Mine is not, I'm not too mad at mine, but I'm irritated by it. It happened this morning, so it's fresh in my mind. We've been getting our lawn mowed by a service for a while, since the lawnmower broke about 2 years ago. He always comes around 2, 3 o'clock on Tuesdays. And this morning, I wake up 7 a.m. I'm woken up by the sound of a lawnmower. I'm like, oh, my neighbor's mowing his lawn, no big deal. It gets louder and louder and louder. Now, we have freshly planted trees. I have to water this time of year. I have to water them twice a day. So I know on Tuesdays, go out, bring the hoses in. So he does his thing. It's like 7 a.m. The dog's going crazy. He's out there mowing our yard that early. I'm like, first off, the grass still has dew on it. You're not getting a good cut when it's that wet, bud.
You're changing the game.
Yeah. It'd be one thing if this was like, a thing, but you're coming in here and now I've got to rush out in my boxers, get the hoses brought in, and it's a whole ordeal. And now I'm up and it's a whole thing. Like you let somebody know.
You're like, hey, bud, I got a podcast to record today. He's like, well, when? 3 o'clock.
Hey, bud, I got to start my day job too at like 10.
Yeah, I feel you. I mean, the biggest thing is like you said, it's not that he was there early. It's that he changed up the game.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he's just there. Oh, boom, I'm here at 2 every week. Boom, let me just hit you at 7. Like, you got something to do, holler at your boy, so I can prep up for it. So I don't have to, like, wake up mad.
Yeah. And I already am not a big fan. Like, listen, it's a great price, and he does a okay job. But anytime I have to, talk to him about something, he acts as if it's the biggest thing in the world. Like, he turns his mower off, takes his headphones off. He's like, yes, sir. I'm like, but here's your check, bro. He had at one point he had his clearly elderly father doing the weed whacking, and he's hitting my rose bushes like crazy every week. Rose bushes are getting torn up. I'm like, hey,
I'm gonna tell you.
So
right
first
now,
I put bricks around them, and I put like stuff around them to passively aggressively be like, hey,
stay
there's
away,
stuff here.
oldie.
Still hitting it. I go out tell him one day. He's like, oh, okay, I'll tell him. Still does it. Eventually, I see someone else is doing it. Well, now he's got his like 8-year-old kid doing it. He can barely hold the weed whacker.
Yeah.
Today, and this morning, he hit the bottom of one of my new trees.
Bobby, you live in Shelbyville, okay? Like 88% of the population there cuts grass. I think I just find a new person to cut your grass.
It was incredibly hard to find someone because they're all booked. This guy is from Bell Buckle. And the only reason because he does my neighbors. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's your problem. You just need to find somebody that's not booked. You need to get on like a wait list or something. There's a reason that he's coming from Bell Buckle to cut you up, dude. I mean, it doesn't sound like he does a horrendous job, but you literally
he's fine
just
at the
said
mowing the grass, but it's the weed whacking part that he
okay, but
which I actually went out and bought a weed whacker so I can start. He showed up one day and I see like the guy look at like the guy who does weed whacker look around like he has nothing because I did it the day before.
Well, I mean, you literally said, like, he does an okay job cutting my grass. Bro, like, we can cut grass, okay? Like, we can be professionals.
I'm actually very good at cutting my own grass, but my lawnmower's broken. I didn't even have a 0-turn. I just had a regular John Deere rider.
We could be professionals if it was just the grass cutting thing, okay?
Yeah.
Like, it's not, I mean, not that I'm saying it's not hard work or anything. I'm not
it's just
denigrating
time.
anybody. It's time consuming, but like,
and it's not like I'm cutting the Savannah place at a golf, whatever it's called, a golf course.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna have mostly corn on it, like this time next year.
You just gotta avoid the cabbage.
Just avoid all the cabbage.
And I would have my John Deere if they didn't have the right to work stuff on them. That's called a callback. What you got?
All right, so my outside TV messing up right at the start of football season. I mean, it's not completely messed up, but it's messed up enough to where it's annoying, dude. It's way too annoying. Like, could I see the game? Sure, but half of it's like darkened, and so it's like, and I mean, they're not that expensive, but it's just annoying, like more so than anything else. Like, I gotta take this one off the mount. Like, I gotta see if I get fit. It's just, and then also taking the L in that block, dude. I
took the L too.
I know you took an L. The most unlikely of teams won.
Yeah,
Morgan and Hannah.
Well, weren't they the two that was like, oh, I'm no good at this. I'm not going to be any good. So it's always those guys that are like, oh, never good. It's like, yeah, well.
I'll tell you, though.
This game was not designed for film critics.
The most impressive of all that happened.
Oh,
Stephanie. Yeah. No, it was Hannah and your mom, was it? Yeah, it was Hannah and your mom that ended up winning. But Stephanie and Morgan, when he hit her with heist, and she was just the Italian job, and he was like, yes,
because I mean, it was like Ocean's 11.
Well, I mean, like, like the thing is, like, if you eventually get to the Italian job, and you get to heist
being
movies,
your first pick is wild.
It was just like crazy because I've never seen the Italian job, so like,
that's a good movie. It's decent.
I mean, I'm not.
It's Edward Norton, Mark Wahlberg. It's good.
Well, you guys all of that you just said was talked to me by like 30 of you that night. You know me, I'm just not a big action movie guy.
It's not. I mean, yes, it's got its action sequences, but it's more like a planning. It's more of like it's a smart movie.
Like about a heist.
I mean, it's as smart as a Mark Wahlberg movie
can be. If
I
look it up, if I say what type of movie is the Italian job, it's not going to say action.
It honestly with probably Mark Wahlberg, I think directed it. I think maybe. So
okay, so basically, it's got Italian. I mean, it's
a remake of the original. When the remake had a lot less action, and it's got like I think it's honestly it has a lot of car chases in it.
I don't care.
With Mini Coopers.
I do not care. I was like the least thing. Like, you're not selling me. You're like, honestly.
Oh, I'm not trying to sell you. I'm just telling you the pieces I remember from it. There was a lot of time went into them testing out different cars to carry gold bars, and they somehow came that Mini Coopers were the most efficient.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Doesn't
I think
seem
it was
like
a sponsor. They were like, "Oh, well, look if it's low center of gravity."
No doubt. Yeah, no doubt.
But all right, guys, we will see you all next week. Have a good one.
Peace.
Thanks for listening to the Pucks Out Podcast. To see what other ridiculousness the guys are up to, check them out on Twitter and Instagram @PucksOutPod.